A warm welcome to our final episode of the series, where we'll be diving into the world of guest wireless networks and BYOD policies. In our ever-evolving digital era, the reliance on technology has become an integral part of our daily lives. From small businesses to major corporations, from schools to research institutions, we're all interconnected through a vast web of networks. And with this increasing interconnectivity, the need for secure, flexible, and efficient network solutions has never been more paramount. That's where guest wireless networks and BYOD, or bring your own device policies, come into play. But what exactly are these? A guest wireless network is a separate access point on your wireless network that allows visitors, clients, or customers to access the internet without giving them direct access to your main network. This provides a layer of security, protecting your main network and the data it contains from potential threats. On the other hand, a BYOD policy is a set of rules or guidelines set by a company that allows employees to bring their own personal devices like laptops, tablets, and smartphones to work and use these devices to access company information and applications. Now, you might ask, why are these so crucial in today's tech landscape? Well, guest wireless networks offer several benefits. They provide a secure way for guests to access the internet without compromising the host's network. They also allow businesses to offer complimentary Wi-Fi as a value-added service, enhancing the customer experience. BYOD policies, meanwhile, offer flexibility and convenience to employees. They allow for increased productivity as employees use devices they are familiar with. Furthermore, they can lead to cost savings for companies as they no longer have to provide devices for their employees. As we move forward, we will delve into the configuration of these networks and policies. Configuring guest wireless networks is a step-by-step process that requires meticulous attention. It's like setting up a digital guest room in your home or office, ensuring your visitors have a comfortable and secure place to connect their devices. Let's dive into this process. Think of the first step as laying the foundation of your guest room. This is where we set up the access point. An access point is essentially a device that creates a wireless local area network, or WLAN. It's the hub of your guest network, connecting your guests' devices to the broader internet. Now imagine you're putting a nameplate on your digital guest room. This is your network name, or SSID, which stands for Service Set Identifier. Your SSID is the name that your guests will see when they search for available networks. It's important to make this name unique but not personal or identifiable for security reasons. Next, we move on to enabling guest mode. Enabling guest mode is like giving your guests a separate entrance to your digital home. This ensures they can access the internet without encroaching on your private network. It's a feature that provides an extra layer of security, separating your guests from your primary network. Once we've set up the guest mode, we need to secure our guest network. Think of this as setting up a lock on your digital guest room. We do this by setting up security measures. There are several types of security protocols available, but the most common are WEP WPA and WPA2. Each has its strengths and weaknesses, but WPA2 is currently the most secure. This step is crucial as it protects your network from unwanted intruders. Now, you might be wondering, what about the password? Well, that's an important part of the security measures too. It's like the key to your digital guest room. When setting a password, make sure it's strong and unique, but also something your guests can remember. A good practice is to change this password periodically, adding another layer of security. So, to recap, we've set up the access point, named our network, enabled guest mode, and set up security measures including a strong password. It's a multi-step process, but each step is essential in ensuring a secure and functional guest wireless network. And that concludes the setup of a guest wireless network. Now, let's turn our attention to BYOD policies. A BYOD, or bring your own device, is a policy that allows employees to bring their own devices to work. But how do we implement it? Well, it's not as daunting as it may sound. The first step is defining your policy. This involves outlining the rules and regulations that manage the use of personal devices within the workplace. Some of the factors to consider include the types of devices allowed, the level of access to the corporate network, and how the devices will be supported by your IT department. Once you've defined your policy, it's time to communicate it to your employees. Make sure they understand the policy and the consequences of non-compliance. This will not only ensure a smoother transition, but also help in enforcing the policy. Next comes the critical part, setting up security measures. In the world of BYOD, security is paramount. You'll need to set up a secure network that separates corporate data from personal data. This can be achieved through a method called sandboxing, which isolates the corporate data within a secure application on the device. In addition to this, you'll want to consider implementing Mobile Device Management or MDM. This software allows you to manage, monitor, and secure employees' mobile devices. It gives you the ability to remotely wipe data if a device is lost or stolen, enforce password policies, and even restrict certain applications. But it's not just about securing the devices. You also need to secure your network. This can be done through the use of virtual private networks, or VPNs, which encrypt data transmitted between the device and your network. Firewalls and intrusion prevention systems, or IPS, can also be used to protect your network from threats. Now that you have your security measures in place, it's time to monitor and manage the devices. This involves keeping track of all the devices accessing your network, ensuring they comply with your policy, and dealing with any security incidents. One way to do this is through the use of Network Access Control, or NAC. This technology can identify and categorize devices on your network, ensure they meet your security requirements, and even quarantine or restrict non-compliant devices. Finally, remember that a BYOD policy is not a set-and-forget solution. It needs to be reviewed and updated regularly to keep up with technological advances and emerging threats. So, in a nutshell, implementing a BYOD policy involves defining the policy, communicating it to your employees, setting up robust security measures, and monitoring and managing the devices. This might seem like a lot, but with careful planning and the right tools, you can create a policy that benefits both your employees and your organization. With these steps, you can implement a BYOD policy that is secure and efficient. Now that we have covered the configuration of guest wireless networks and BYOD policies, let's summarize what we have learned. We began by understanding the importance of guest wireless networks and BYOD policies. In today's interconnected world, it's crucial for businesses and organizations to provide secure, reliable, and controlled internet access to their guests. Guest wireless networks allow them to do just that, offering internet connectivity to visitors without compromising the security of the main network or its resources. Next, we dove into the configuration of guest wireless networks. We explored the necessary steps, starting from setting up a separate Service Set Identifier (SSID) for the guest network, implementing appropriate security measures to monitoring and managing the network. We also emphasized the need for a clear and comprehensive guest access policy to ensure network security. We then turned our attention to Bring Your Own Device or BYOD policies. In this age of mobile technology, employees often prefer to use their personal devices for work. While this can increase productivity and employee satisfaction, it also poses significant security risks. A well-structured BYOD policy helps mitigate these risks by setting guidelines for device usage, data access, and security controls. We went through the steps involved in the development and implementation of an effective BYOD policy, including considerations for device compatibility, network access, data privacy, and security. Finally, we examined the relationship between guest wireless networks and BYOD policies. Both play important roles in modern network management and are closely interconnected. A secure guest network is a key part of a robust BYOD policy, providing a separate, controlled environment for personal devices. Conversely, an effective BYOD policy is essential for managing the risks associated with guest network access. And with that, we conclude our journey into guest wireless networks and BYOD policies. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you found this series beneficial.
Feeling satisfied? Craving more? Let your voice roar. Did this course ignite your learning flame? Did the knowledge spark a fire in your soul? If so, then let your voice thunder in the comment box below. Share your thoughts, your questions, your burning desire for more. Let us know what topics set your mind ablaze, what skills you crave to master, what knowledge you yearn to devour. Don't just sit there, simmering in satisfaction. Let your excitement erupt. Let your curiosity unleash a torrent of